Welcome to On the Radar. I am Paul Mireles.
I am Ryan Shoptaugh.
And I'm Roxie van Ruiten.
All right, yeah, we are going to break down and we're going to take you beyond the forecast, show you some jaw-dropping weather video, and of course, we're going to break down the wildest weather moments of the week. All right, where do you think we ought to start?
Probably somewhere in the Central Plains. It's the month of May. We're in springtime, guys, so it gets pretty active in May.
So why not start in Oklahoma?
Take us there, Paul.
Let's go. Let's go to Oklahoma. We're going to go to far western Oklahoma. This is Arnett in the, extreme farthest west part of Oklahoma where it's really flat. It's almost in the panhandle. But look at this video. That's pretty impressive, right?
You can see all the debris flying around the tornado. Does it say what category this was? What level? EF0? I mean, that's probably EF2, EF3 at the minimum, I think,
you know, Ryan, you read my mind. I was trying to look. I don't see it, but it does say storm trackers Val and Amy Castor captured this large tornado. This was May the 18th, doing damage on the ground, and you can see. Now, one thing that's interesting, though, about tornadoes is would you say, Roxie, wouldn't you say this is kind of like a thinner tornado, not as wide, right?
I just know I would drive away, but I feel like you.
But there's a lot of people driving towards the tornado.
I'll drive away.
Yeah, I know. But here's the thing: just because it's kind of thinner doesn't mean it's not strong.
Right.
It could be, F3.
You'd call that a rope tornado, right?
If I had to guess, it would look like it was roping out there at the end. But if I had to guess, probably an F3, something like that. That would be my guess.
As a matter of fact, I have some stats right here. So Oklahoma sees a lot of tornadoes per year.
Yep.
So far, they've seen 53 tornadoes for the year of 2025, and it's May.
Okay.
EF0, they've seen about 8, EF1, 32. But here's some of the categories from the EF scale, the enhanced Fujita scale. From EF0, people think, it's just an EF0 tornado. It's still bad damage. I mean, from 65 to 85 mile-an-hour winds.
It'll tear your roof off.
Right. And then EF1's from, as you can see, 85 to 110. EF2 is 111 to 125. Going all the way up to EF5, which, guys, that's maxing out of over 200 mile-an-hour winds.
Okay, both of you guys, what's the strongest tornado damage that you've ever come across, seen?
Well, I would say so. I mean, I remember, being here in San Antonio, a few years back, but I mean, where we were watching Oklahoma tornadoes, and I think we were tracking an EF4 across, the Red River towards southern Oklahoma. But that was just watching it on radar. I haven't experienced that firsthand.
Okay.
Me neither. There was a tornado warning, though, one time when I was covering for you, Paul.
Right.
And it ended up being a whole tornado warning, and it was a lot.
And I thank you for that, Roxie. I will tell you this, EF4, even though it's not the top of the scale, I have seen, I didn't witness it, but I did go a day or two later. EF4 damage. This is in Mississippi, in Louisville, Mississippi, in the middle of the forest out there. Yeah. But EF4 tornado, everything about 4 feet and above was gone.
Yeah.
So these big pine trees look like a bunch of sticks, but it was just amazing. 2x4 down into a swimming pool. Just amazing stuff.
And people talk about Tornado Alley, but that's a different alley, correct? That's Dixie
Alley.
That's Dixie Alley. There's different tornado alleys depending on where you live across the country.
And they're normally radar indicated, right? What's the other indication?
Yeah.
National Weather Service, or what's the other?
Observation, from storm spotters on the ground. Okay. That'll be one way for someone to indicate, like from the video we saw earlier in Oklahoma.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Exactly right.
We are staying on the topic of tornadoes. I think we're staying.
So, fun fact, since today, there's been 922 tornadoes reported in the United States. That's 281 more than the historical average of 641, which makes 2025 tornado season the worst in a decade, guys.
This has been a real active season. Maybe it doesn't seem like it for everybody.
Yeah.
But apparently it's been really active. How many tornadoes did you say, Roxie? 922?
So historically it's 641. We've seen 922.
That's a lot.
In this decade.
Yeah.
No, I think, was it the decade or the year?
Right. Well, she mentioned that it's been the most active.
2025 has been the worst season.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I'm glad I don't live in Oklahoma.
Yeah. But people do. People love Oklahoma.
I would love to live in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You just got to I got to have a shelter.
You got to have a basement. You need
basement.
Yeah, it's a different world up there. That's for sure.
By the way, my aunt, she lives in Granbury.
Uh-huh.
Nobody cares.
Well, no, I do.
Lives in Granbury, but she's got a really nice shelter.
Does she really?
A really nice what? Basement?
She's got a really nice shelter. No, it's like about 20 yards from the house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you got to run to it and get in it, but it's really nice.
Wow.
But anyway, nobody cares about
No, I mean, show me pictures later. Yeah.
You know what?
I'm
Maybe-
concerned.
if I
I'm
brought it up,
actually
I
intrigued.
probably
I want to see a nice basement.
I
you know?
probably should have. Yeah, that's what I get for bringing it up. Okay, so where are we at now? We're gonna stay in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta check this out.
Oh,
Look
my.
at this.
You know, I'm surprised that the car didn't blow up.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm thinking what happens in movies.
Yes.
But it's just, I mean, you know, lightning, how hot it can get, and when it's
Nothing happened to it?
when it's hitting, I don't know. I mean, the clarity of the video is not exactly perfect, but it's clear enough for us to see the.
I mean, could you imagine
lightning
what it would
strike.
do to you? I mean, look at that.
Oh yeah, you're knocked out if that
Okay,
hits you.
by the way, this is in Newcastle, Oklahoma. It's a suburb of Oklahoma City, just west of Moore and Norman. And you can see, I mean, that car was just struck by lightning.
Again, I'm surprised it didn't blow up, but that's incredible.
That is.
I mean, what are the chances of it hitting your car versus hitting you? It's probably one in a million.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, if it does hit your car, I think you're safe.
Right,
On the inside.
Is it because
of the rubber tires?
Well, it acts as what is it called, a Faraday cage, and the lightning current goes from the top all the way back down to the ground. So you're actually safer in a car versus like a tree or at the beach or in a parking lot.
What about a Honda Civic?
I don't. I mean,
What about a Volkswagen?
But Faraday cage, Ryan, that's pretty impressive that you knew that.
that was just
How
at
did you know that?
the top of the dome. I went to class. I went to school.
Very good.
You know, I mean, so did all of you guys. You know.
Yeah. Hey, but that one got past me, Faraday cage.
Faraday cage. Yeah.
Okay, I think we're going to switch gears a little bit.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, so we're on the topic of lightning, and I want to ask you guys, where is the most common?
50,000 degrees.
Well, no, that was last. That was last
Weather
episode.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, what?
Yeah. Where do you think people get hit by lightning the most? Is it at the beach? Is it by a tree? Is it by taller buildings? Well, what do you guys think?
I'm going to guess like out in the open, like in the plains where there's no trees.
Yeah.
Because then you become like the highest object.
Right.
That's my guess.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say like a baseball field or football field.
Yeah.
Just-
Maybe open field, right?
Open field?
Well, take
Yeah.
a look at this graphic.
Okay.
This is really cool. This is just showing lightning fatality locations over the last decade. Now, you'll see the bigger numbers. For example, under a tree, 92. Again, this is over the last decade. About 20 to 40 people die per year due to lightning strikes. So again, this is over 10 years. And again, under a tree is most. By water is also a huge number because water conducts electricity. So if you're in the water and you're not even, near the lightning strike, that can still hurt you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. You know, one thing strikes me, though? Like, no pun intended.
I was like, that was good. That was
What
good.
strikes me is you've got yard, you've got out in the open, and you've got, what's the other? Field.
Yeah.
Those are some top ones. So, I mean, if you're out and exposed like that and you start tingling, you know what you need to do?
Tingling.
You know what,
doesn't
you know what
your
you should
hair
do?
go up a little bit? Like
I think
if
it
you start
does.
feeling
Yeah.
a
No, I think
tingle
it
and you're
does.
out in the open, you know what you should do? Squat down, get on the balls of your feet, and make like a smaller object, like almost like a catcher would, like
Okay.
catching a ball, like a catcher, baseball catcher.
okay.
Get down as low as you can, kind of on the balls of your feet, and that'll help.
Really?
But don't get under a tree.
How about I just don't leave my house?
Yeah. Roxie,
Well,
just
it's gonna
stay
be
just stay
ultra
indoors.
safe.
Just stay indoors.
Yeah, but that'd make for a boring Roxy if you never left your house.
Well, one more question for you guys. Why under a tree? Well, I mean, obviously it's a tall object, but it's not taller than
Because it's gonna
buildings.
get struck.
But it's also because of what's inside the tree. Moisture, water content. Trees hold a lot of water,
Right.
and the charges around the tree. I mean, that's also a reason why it's so conducive to lightning hitting it more often, more frequently.
You know, I didn't know that. You're going beyond
Beyond-
you go beyond the forecast.
Beyond the
forecast.
radar.
I had
Beyond-
no idea
beyond-
that moisture made
Very
a difference
pun
in the
intended.
tree.
That's just my take on it, but that's what I've read, Paul. So.
Okay, all right. Hey, you know what, Ryan? I'll take your word for it.
All right. What's
All right.
next?
Let's take it to Pennsylvania and Maryland. So now
Okay.
we're talking about flash flooding. Right. So flash flooding in the second floor of an elementary school. So officials said about 150 students and 50 adults had to be evacuated from the Westernport Elementary School Students were trapped inside with dozens of others, and the first floor was flooded completely.
Wow,
that's some big time flooding.
That's some fast moving water too.
Yes.
You know,
could you imagine if you accidentally fell into that water?
I wonder how difficult it would be to fight the current. You know,
extremely difficult. Okay.
Well, you know,
have you ever been to like the lazy river at like?
I know exactly what you're talking. And sometimes you try and walk against the current. You go upstream.
Right. Or
you know.
Yeah, or try to swim against that current, and it's probably not that strong. It's difficult.
Yeah.
So you can imagine trying to swim against that current.
Well, I was thinking like maybe lazy river times 10. Like you're trying to fight against that current, but it's probably a lot more difficult because either the terrain, the geography is probably playing a huge factor in it.
Yeah.
In addition to how much rain has fell in that area.
That could be like a thrill ride. Lazy river times 10.
They have like those surfing
I like that.
things you can ride, and then maybe a lazy river interaction for Paul Mireles. You know what I'm saying?
Lazy river times 10.
Yeah. Did I just create something?
Right.
Okay.
You did.
Yeah.
I like that, Ryan. Okay. So where are we going next?
I think we're going to storms passing in Ohio. Let's take a look at some of this video, coinciding with the afternoon hours. As you can see, kids are being picked up on Tuesday, April 29th.
This is so painful.
Well, you know,
this is really painful.
So I don't have kids, but I imagine. You know,
can you imagine? You put yourself.
No,
you know what, Ryan?
I started this conversation wrong. But I was just trying to say, like, Paul, when you're covering thunderstorms, severe weather, you're obviously keeping an eye on what's happening on radar. But, you know, you have kids. And were you ever concerned about storms rolling into the San Antonio, the South Texas area, and you seeing wind gusts of 50, 60 miles an hour, heavy rain, low visibility, slick roadways? Yeah. I mean, that can be impactful for kids, drivers, everyone in school districts. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Oh, yeah, there are many, many times. But the worst, though, the absolute worst, is with pickup time.
Yeah,
everybody gets wet.
Yeah,
you just have low visibility. You can't see. It's just horrible. This is a real painful scene. If you've ever been to pickup, you got a kid, it's tough.
Well, and it's just not raining, just heavy. It's gusting. I mean, you can see the winds moving the rain probably like at 40, 50 miles an hour.
Oh,
you know,
Roxie, what do you think?
I mean, never picked up a kid, but I'm sure that's awful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put yourself as the kid. That would
I know he's running really fast.
Have some empathy.
He didn't slip or anything.
Anyway, it's just horrible. Okay.
Yeah.
Rox, I remember I think it was last week you were talking about potholes.
Yes.
Nobody likes potholes, right?
You know,
Nobody.
I've had to get new tires plenty of times.
Right.
In El Paso, there's like a medium amount, but Juarez across the border.
Yeah, I know you were telling me about
lots.
that.
Yeah.
Lots of potholes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you talk about times 10. We're going to show you a pothole. It's not really a pothole actually, but this is times 10.
Oh.
You've got to stick around and find out what caused this road to wash away. That's what we're going to cover when On the Radar returns.
All right, welcome back to On the Radar, the greatest weather show on the planet.
It's true.
Thank you for being here.
True.
Okay.
Sponsored by everybody.
Okay.
We're taking it to Bernie, which I have been to Bernie, and it was really nice when I went. I went to buy some dresses over there. But
Bernie, Texas is nice.
It's in the hill country.
nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
I feel like it's like old money, like really nice.
I don't know if it's
I
old money
I
or
don't
new
know about
money,
that kind of
whatever it
money.
is,
I don't know that kind of
just
money.
give me
you know?
some.
Yeah.
So.
Just give me some.
Anyway.
Exactly. Well, they got to see some hail. So thankfully, this was pea-size hail. Not too big, but still, any kind of hail can always cause some damage. This is from our news director, Jack Acosta. And yeah, guys.
Okay.
It's not just hail, but it's like heavy rain too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. The video is okay. You know, it's pea-sized hail. It's raining heavy.
Right.
But the reason we're showing you this is this storm, when it moves south a little bit further south, created some big time hail. We got some of those pictures.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, let's take a look at some more hail pictures, videos, and things like that. I mean, this
Look
is
at that. Wow.
This requires two hands to hold, guys. I
If
mean,
that hits you, lights out.
yeah, right. That's what's so scary. I mean, this is not causing just damage to property, cars, roofs, but this could hurt people. That's what's so scary about that.
Yeah.
That's maybe a little bit bigger than golf ball Paul,
It's like a
right there.
perfect ball,
That's,
too.
yeah, I would say sort of like a hen egg.
I would say maybe 2 inch in diameter.
Like an egg, maybe a small egg.
Yeah, but some of those pictures from earlier, I mean, that's probably 4 inches in diameter.
The one
before. I mean, the one that required to hold with both hands. You don't see hail like that very often.
If you've got to hold a hailstone with 2 hands, that's a big one. Now, yeah, I think the official report was 3-inch diameter.
Right. Yeah.
So what is that, like a big apple?
Yeah, maybe a little bit bigger than an apple, I think. I would say that's probably 3 to 4 inches in diameter right there. But just to put in perspective, a softball is 4 inches in diameter, and a grapefruit is 4.5 inches in diameter.
By the way, those are nice friendship bracelets.
From the Taylor Swift concert? Is that what you're referencing? Okay. All right, Paul.
Right, that's
All right. I didn't know you were a fan.
Well, I don't have any friends, so I need some friendship bracelet. No.
You have
Roxie.
Roxie.
You can't
You
help
have
it.
Roxie.
I've got friends. But anyway, you couldn't help but notice. So.
Yeah. We're staying on the topic of
Thanks for the picture.
Heavy rain and thunderstorms, right, Paul?
That's exactly right. Okay, this is a retaining wall. I'm going to take a guess, Ryan, that you've never put together a retaining wall.
I think most people haven't.
Right. I have.
Oh, have you really?
I have. Not like this size. And the reason I'm bringing this up is I can't imagine even building a retaining wall that big. A small retaining wall, you got to know what you're doing at just 4 or 5 feet. I don't know how tall that one is, but anyway, big retaining
massive.
wall. And this is in Virginia, I believe. Yeah, Lynchburg, Virginia, which is just east of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Heavy rain caused roads to close around Lynchburg, and this retaining wall just couldn't take the water, just couldn't take it, and collapsed. Now, as a person that has built a few, that would make you very upset. You'd be like, ugh.
I think this is just a testament to like how powerful moving water is, how powerful like rain accumulation is. I mean, it loosens the ground, the soil, the dirt, and it can have an effect like this. And
So are they going to fix it, or is it going to?
They're gonna have to.
yeah,
That's gonna be tough. Roxie with the great questions.
yeah, absolutely. We love those questions. Yeah, absolutely.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's go to Pensacola, Florida.
I love Florida.
Oh.
Yeah, right. Florida. I'm not kidding you, and maybe this is because I'm not a world traveler, but I think these are some of the best beaches in the whole world. I'm getting off the subject.
Have you been to Cancun though?
No, I heard
my opinion.
I heard the
Beach,
Panhandle of
but
Florida
this is
has
very
some really nice beaches. But anyway,
the water's beautiful. Okay,
Yeah.
see that hotel that's there in the distance?
Uh-huh.
Watch as it's going to disappear. Now, this is one of my pet peeves. Is they call everything that's a tornado over the water a water spout, but a tornado and a spout or land spout, water spout, they're formed 2 different ways, right? But see that building, it just disappeared because of that tornado going from the water onto the land there. And that right there, that is no water spout. That is an actual tornado that forms over the water and goes onto the land.
Well,
but you'll hear stories all the time. It was a water spout, then became a tornado on land. What is it, like magic or?
Well, I guess most people think it's location that determines what it is.
I don't play that though.
What do you play? I'm just kidding.
No, because like a water spout is formed when the air is really quiet and there's like some kind of a boundary, and you get this thunderstorm that develops, and then you have spinning along that boundary, and it kind of has a real kind of ropey kind of look to it, you know?
Does it have anything to do with the heating of the water, which kind of causes more evaporation, more latent heat, and things like that?
Maybe it could be some causes.
Yeah.
But a tornado is caused by divergence of law.
Right.
In the whole process, it's a different process than a water spout.
Interesting.
But they call everything on the,
No, that's a good explain. That's good. That's good to mention.
I'm on my soapbox. So.
It's okay.
But anyway, that was Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you've never been there, you need to go. Destin's really cool as well. By the way, I didn't read here. Let's see.
So now we're going to New Zealand.
No, I think we're going to.
Are we going to leave? Yeah. You know what? I covered it. Didn't need to read it.
It's okay.
Oh, there we go.
I think we're going back to Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
I think, yeah.
There we go.
Oh, this was our tease that we had.
Yeah, so this was in Blanchard, Oklahoma, just south of Oklahoma City, OKC. A section of the county road, which was 1322 in Blanchard, Oklahoma, has developed a hole large enough to fit a military tanker residence, say. As you can see, it's massive. Fiber optic cables were exposed as the road gave way. So, I mean, a lot of things can contribute to massive holes like this, but as you can see, a lot of
I do like
water
the
and rain.
color of it.
The
This is all
reds.
throughout Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, the red soil, right?
It's different.
It's different.
Yeah.
Now, earlier in the video, a mail carrier was seen delivering to one side of the road but was unable to reach the other.
Is that a fish?
I think so.
Whoa.
He's
Fishing out there?
going upstream. That's what you call it, just going upstream.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting video right there.
Yeah, but you know what? A lot of folks, this inconvenienced a lot of folks. They couldn't get to the other side.
Yeah, County Road 1322.
Yeah, and I was reading some of the story. It was like happened during like the end of school, and it was like interrupted like different stuff. And,
I mean, this uproots your entire day.
Right.
If you can't cross this road for some of those friends and family over there.
Yeah. Yep. So that'll ruin your day right there, no doubt.
That's for sure.
Okay, let's see what. This is cool. You'll like this. Go ahead, Rob.
Now we're going to New Zealand.
Yep.
So this is seawater flooded coastal roads. So strong winds out there, uprooted roots, and just flooded roads. And that looks like a boat.
I was going to say, this guy must have a massive truck because he is flying over that water.
I tell you what, water does not slow people down in New Zealand. My goodness.
It's a different world over
It's like
there.
every day for them.
Different hemisphere.
Maybe on the other side of the world, it's a little different.
That's an incredible video, though.
I would call in. But look at that guy.
Yeah, he's got his
little
his scooter. What is that, like a Razor or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just waiting. Is there additional? Yeah, look at that. So some trees were knocked down. I mean, it wasn't just heavy rain, but I mean,
that's some big time wind.
Yeah.
Big time problems there in New Zealand. By the way, New Zealand is mainly like these two islands. This is on the far south part of the northern island.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember the point, but it's right there on the very south tip of the northern island.
Yeah, that car is
Zealand's
just
a place we need to go to one day.
Yeah, I heard it's beautiful. There's a lot of mountains and good hiking over there. But yeah, that's some heavy rain over in New Zealand.
Man, I tell you what, they travel fast over there. I can imagine how fast they drive when the roads are dry.
Yeah, for real.
Okay. Of course, this time of the year, you have trees on top of houses. We've got another one. This is like a daily occurrence. This is in Georgia. We're going to tell you, oh, look at that. We've got the whole story for you coming up when On the Radar returns.
All right, welcome back to On the Radar. It's me, Paul, and Roxie covering all the weather moments across the country and across the world, guys. And we talk about rain, we've talked about lightning, tornadoes, but sometimes wind speeds can just gust over 100, 120 miles an hour. Strong straight line winds can do damage to properties, buildings, and uproot trees.
Oh, so you get some uprooted tree footage.
We do,
okay.
And this is massive footage. I mean, I haven't seen anything quite like it. Take a look at some of this video. Okay. First and foremost, this tree obviously knocked down and broke some windows, and here's some of the damage from this tree. And notice, I mean, some of the bricks starting to crack a little bit, but if you go back to the part of the video where, I mean, the entire root system of that tree was but I mean, it was a huge tree.
Well, look at those trees.
Yeah, I mean, they've been there for quite some time, but look at that root system. I mean, that is huge.
You know, in this situation, I'm going to take a guess that it had been raining for a while.
Because it has to loosen up the soil because trees just don't knock over like that. You know what I'm saying? But Georgia Power reports that over 700 customers were without power in Floyd County. This is northwest of Atlanta, by the way. But this large tree toppled over the top of a home, as you can see, doing some damage. But that is just incredible. I haven't seen a huge tree like that being toppled over in a long time.
That's amazing. Yeah. Did I share my bee story on this show?
No, feel free to share.
Bee story?
Yeah. Okay, when I was covering Hurricane Beryl.
Okay. Yeah.
In Brazoria, there was a tree, Brazoria, Texas. There was a tree that fell on this guy's house. It's not funny. Why am I chuckling? I shouldn't be. But anyway, it was a big, huge pecan tree, and it had a hornet's nest.
Oh, no.
And it went inside of his house, filled the house. So it was bad enough that a tree fell on his house. But then
plus being out of power,
no power,
branches,
it was the worst situation I think I've ever seen. I felt so bad for the guy. But yeah, when a tree falls on your house, it's devastating. I mean, look at that.
Hurricane Beryl did some damage in Houston and southeast Texas, but winds can do that. They can uproot trees and cause some crazy damage across the area.
That is some big damage. Okay, we're going to take it, where are we going to go? We're going to go international because that's what we do on the radar.
That's
okay,
right.
What you're looking at here, this is a reservoir in England. Okay, this is drone footage, of course, showed the partially dry Woodhead Reservoir in northern England. This is on May the 13th. As Britain, there's a lot of places that have been dry lately. Britain is one of those, and it's had the driest start to a spring in almost 70 years, 69 years. The environmental agency there in Britain has urged water companies to do more safeguards, of course, and March was the driest there in England since 1961, and April received just half of the normal rainfall there in Britain. So, we showed them, it was like in the 80s, and they were fanning themselves and everything. It has been really dry. I didn't realize it's been that dry. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, Britain, England, I mean, they're surrounded by water, so, climatologically, they get a lot of rain, and for them not to get rain, and as you mentioned, over 70 years, they haven't seen this kind of dry start to spring drought. I mean, that's incredible to see the lack of rain, and this is the result, the direct byproduct of not seeing rain in this part of the world.
Yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel bad for those folks. Hopefully they'll pick up some rain.
Yeah.
All right. Where are we going?
International.
Staying international. I like it.
We're going to Belgium. All right. So they're also experiencing one of the driest springs on record with almost no rainfall since March. Belgium is bordered by France, Netherlands, and Germany. Did you guys know my
Thanks for the geographic lesson there.
Did you know my grandpa's from the Netherlands? That's why I added that in there. But anyways.
Wow, that's cool.
What was Grandpa's first name? Just curious.
Johannes. That's where I get the Van Ruiten name.
Johan Van Ruiten.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds. Is it Dutch? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, Dutch. I like it.
That's right.
Okay, so that's enough of the international trip. Sorry, Grandpa. Okay, we're gonna go to California, I believe. Lodi, California. If you know where that is, Lodi, California is in the Central Valley, which is south of Sacramento. Now, this is, before I get into all this, have you ever heard of the Valley Girls? In California?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is not the Valley.
Okay.
Yeah, that valley is San Fernando Valley. This is Central, where like Sacramento and Fresno and all that. Anyway, this is Lodi, California. Cherries, a favorite summer fruit. But this year, the staple may be hard to come by. Why, you may ask? Because, first of all, it's been the cherry season's looking kind of light because of the industry. I don't know exactly. What does this say? Oh, they're just damaged. You know what? I realized by putting the story together is that cherries are very fragile.
Yeah, I did a story on this. I've covered cherry season, cherry festival. So on one night, below freezing temperatures, they lost 60% of their crop.
Oh, wow.
Just on one night.
So they're temperamental crops.
Yeah.
Very temperamental. Okay, I found out why. It's because it rained too much in March and April. Well, I mean, you just can't make these cherries happy.
You can't.
Yeah, so if it's kind of like a drought and then you get a lot of rain, they start splitting too, and then they start tasting different. I know my cherries.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
By the way, I don't really care for cherries.
Wow.
Oh
I love cherries, man.
Do you tell me that?
I love the tart flavor of cherries.
Roxie's a big
it's so
cherry fan.
delicious.
It's like my whole personality is cherries.
But this was in California, you said?
Yeah, it's in Lodi, California. Lodi.
I mean, California is known for growing so many different crops. I mean, from vineyards to cherries to everything, right?
My cherry store was in Cloudcroft, New Mexico.
Ah,
but it's beautiful.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Good stuff.
All right, so now you know all about cherries.
Yeah, from on the radar.
Maybe I need to eat more cherries, I guess.
Right.
Okay, well, we've got one last thing that we're going to leave with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, On the Radar relies on weather video, weather content, weather photos. So please send your photos and video to kensweather@kens5.com. We love this weather content, and this entire show, On the Radar, is built upon it. So kensweather@kens5.com. Send in your weather video and your weather photos into that email right there, guys.
All right, maybe next week, maybe we'll have more like, I don't know, pecan video.
Right.
And
peaches.
more cherry video.
Wine video, grape video, something.
Maybe
something.
I'll
You know
make
what I'm saying?
you like cherries.
We'll surprise you next week. So you want to watch next week On the Radar. See you later.